The hospital ward smelled of antiseptic and warm baby lotion. Ifeoma lay on the stiff white bed, her body weak and stitched, her eyelids heavy from the drugs. The ceiling lights flickered dimly as if unsure whether to shine on this new chapter of her life. Beside her, in a clear bassinet, her newborn daughter cooed softly, beautiful, full of life, with cheeks like ripe mangoes. But despite the miracle beside her, Ifeoma couldn't smile. Her thoughts were clouded with fear, not joy. She knew what was coming. Only hours ago, the doctors had told her she needed an emergency cesarean section. The baby was in distress. Her blood pressure was dangerously high. There had been no time to argue. It was either the operation or the risk of death for her and the baby. She remembered signing the form with trembling hands, her husband Emeka pacing silently by her side. Not a word of comfort, not a squeeze of her hand. Just silence. Now the door to the ward creaked open. There she was. Mama Emeka, towering and fiery in her Ankara wrapper, her face set like stone. She didn't even glance at the baby. Her eyes locked onto Ifeoma like a heat-seeking missile. So this is how you choose to enter motherhood? Like a weak chicken that can't push out her chick. Ifeoma flinched. Her hands gripped the bedsheet. You've disgraced our family, the older woman continued, her voice sharp. Back in our days, women gave birth in the farms and returned home by evening. But you chose the easy way. You let them cut you open like meat in the market. Emeka stood at the corner of the room, looking at the wall. He didn't interrupt. He didn't defend. He let his mother rain humiliation on the woman who just fought for her life to bring their child into the world. A nurse walked in and quickly excused herself, sensing the tension. Ifeoma's throat tightened. Tears pooled in her eyes, but she swallowed them. She would not cry, not in front of this woman. Not when her daughter was lying there, the proof of her strength and sacrifice. But deep down, the pain cut deeper than the scalpel had. Why me? She whispered to herself after Mama Emeka stormed out. Why must I be punished for surviving? The room went quiet again, but the silence screamed louder than any insult. As the night dragged on, Ifeoma turned her face to the wall and cried quietly, carefully, so her daughter wouldn't hear the sound of her brokenness. This was the day she became a mother, and the day she learned that even miracles can be met with mockery. Weeks passed, but the wound in Ifeoma's heart healed slower than the one on her stomach. At home, Mama Emeka made it her daily duty to remind Ifeoma that her childbirth was incomplete. She'd scoff any time someone congratulated them. Abeg no to praise her. Na Operation Dam born. Not real labor, she would say with a wave of her hand, as if Ifeoma were a failed project. Even during Omugwo, when most new mothers were pampered and helped, Ifeoma was treated like a tenant who owed rent. Why should I carry the baby too much? Since you didn't push her out, you should be strong enough, Mama Emeka would mutter. Ifeoma's eyes always found her husband, searching for his voice, just one word to defend her. But Emeka always had one excuse or the other. Either he was not in the mood, didn't want to disrespect his mother, or worse, just ignore her. She's old-fashioned. But it wasn't just old-fashioned. It was cruel. One afternoon, while bathing the baby, Ifeoma felt a sharp pull near her stitches. She cried out, collapsing to the floor, the baby wrapped tightly in her arms. Mama Emeka rushed in, but not with concern. See your life. Can't even bend small. You want to kill yourself and the child. She didn't offer help. She just shook her head and left. Ifeoma stared at her daughter through blurry eyes. She whispered, "I would do it all again, even if no one claps for me, because you, my angel, were worth the pain." But in the quiet moments, when no one was looking, she would stare at her scar in the mirror and wonder, am I less of a mother because of how I gave birth? Each insult etched that question deeper into her soul. Until the day something unexpected happened, something that would turn everything upside down. Months turned into a year. Ifeoma focused on raising her baby girl with quiet grace. The whispers and passive-aggressive comments from Mama Emeka didn't stop, but Ifeoma had learned to ignore the poison in her words and build her strength from within. Then one evening, news came like a quiet slap in the wind. Mama Emeka's only daughter, Adiz, had just delivered her first child via emergency C-section. The house that once rang with judgment now echoed with confusion. Emeka received the call while they were eating. He glanced at his wife, awkwardly clearing his throat. My sister gave birth, oh? But what? Ifeoma asked, noticing his discomfort. She had an operation. Emergency C-section. Ifeoma blinked, her spoon pausing midair. But she said nothing. Later that night, Mama Emeka came into their room uninvited. Her face was pale, her voice shaky. Ifeoma, I need to travel to go help Adiz. She needs me. Of course, Ifeoma said gently, offering a small, deliberate smile. She just had a C-section. I'm sure she'll need support. The irony didn't need to be spelled out. It hung in the room like thick smoke. They said it was serious, Mama Emeka added, her voice cracking slightly. The baby's heart was slowing down. They had no choice. Ifeoma nodded. That's usually how it happens. No woman chooses it for fun. Mama Emeka's eyes dropped to the floor. For the first time in over a year, she didn't have a single rude word to say. That night, Ifeoma tucked her daughter into bed and whispered, "Look how the world turns, my love. Sometimes it spins slowly, but karma always finds its way." Adiz's condition after her C-section wasn't as smooth as expected. Complications arose, her stitches got infected, and her blood pressure wouldn't stabilize. Mama Emeka, once the loudest critic of C-section births, was now in the hospital daily, worried, sick, and emotionally drained. Back home, she called Emeka one evening in tears. "This thing is not easy, oh. I didn't know it was like this. Adiz can't even lift her baby. She's in so much pain." I don't know how Ifeoma managed. Emeka listened quietly, glancing at his wife who sat reading a children's book to their daughter. "Maybe now you understand," he finally replied. When Mama Emeka returned home weeks later, she wasn't the same. Her voice was softer, her gait slower. And the first thing she did when she saw Ifeoma was unexpected. She knelt. "I wronged you. I mocked you when I should have praised your strength. Please forgive me. What you went through, what you endured, it takes the heart of a lion." Ifeoma stood there, stunned. The same woman who once whispered to neighbors that her son married a weak woman was now kneeling before her, broken by the same reality she once ridiculed. Ifeoma gently lifted her up. Forgiveness is not hard when someone finally sees the truth. And just like that, the wall between them began to crumble. Not entirely, but enough for light to shine through. Months passed. The house that once echoed with silent judgment and unspoken tension now heard laughter, soft at first, then stronger. Adiz had fully recovered and returned home with her baby boy, and Mama Emeka, humbled by her daughter's pain, had truly changed. One evening, The whole family gathered for Adi's baby's naming ceremony. The compound was decorated, the air filled with aromas of jollof rice, fried chicken, and celebration. Guests danced and praised God, but one moment stood out more than the festivities. Mama Emeka stood before everyone and asked to speak. She held the microphone with trembling hands and said, "Today is not just a celebration of a child. It's also the day I confess my ignorance and ask every woman I ever mocked to forgive me, especially my daughter-in-law, Ifeoma. You gave birth like a warrior, and I shamed you. I was wrong. You are the backbone of this family." Gasps. Then silence. Then applause. Ifeoma, who had been watching from the back, wiped tears from her eyes. Not tears of pain this time, but relief. Vindication. Later that night, as she held her daughter close, Emeka joined her. "You were always enough. I should have protected you more," he whispered. Ifeoma smiled faintly. "We all grow. Even Mama." That night, under a calm, starlit sky, forgiveness replaced bitterness and scars turned into strength. Ifeoma's journey was never easy, but it was powerful. Her story became one of grace, resilience, and healing. And deep within, Mama Emeka knew the same C-section she once mocked had given her not one, but two grandchildren and